Hi, my name is Shamika Jones.
My name is Courtney Santana.
My name is Sally Reyes.
My name is Melissa Fontenette Mitchell, and I am a fine art artist.
I'm a singer and vocalist.
A teacher, a professional storyteller. I realized, I think I've always just had a lot of energy, and I've always enjoyed the gift of connecting with people. And my mom said that I always was dancing when I was smaller, and then I went to dance class when I was like 6 years old. And so then when the show came around, it only, I think, confirmed in my heart what I knew I loved doing. With my artistry, there's one thing to just be like dancing on your own, right? But there's another thing to have the gift of an exchange of a story with someone else. And so I think that happened really when I was younger. When did I know I wanted to do it professionally? I still don't. No, I'm kidding. I think I just never was ready to let it go. And so I kept pursuing opportunities to perform and share my artistry, dancing, singing, and acting in college, and then it truly just developed into a career. I'm from a small, well, it's not a small town, but I'm from Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, and so I thought, Max, maybe I'll get on a cruise ship for a couple of years, and then I'll come back home and be with my family, who I love. And then doors just started opening that blew my mind when it started with auditioning for the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater School. And that door opened for me to train there for a couple of years. And then as I was training under the umbrella of school, it's like I woke up one day and was like, oh my gosh, I'm in New York. I got to take advantage of these opportunities. So from there, I then finally, after a lot of no's, booked the international Broadway tour of the musical Chicago, and that opened me up to a whole new world. I remember the first time I woke up in Bangkok, Thailand. This is a country girl from Tennessee, and I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, in a hotel room that I didn't even know how to turn on the lights. I was just like, what? When I was like, wow, how fortunate am I to be able to do what I love, connect with people, and see the world. Blew my mind. And then from there in 2010, so I started touring with that company in 2008, and then in 2010 it just felt like it was the time to go to Los Angeles and see how I could work out there with my storytelling in the entertainment industry and all the different facets of the industry. I don't think I've ever really regretted my path as an artist, because I love performing, and I said that first. But what I love more than even performing is the ability to be, and this is a word that's kind of dangerous right now because we throw it around all over the place, but the ability to have influence. I adored early on the influence afforded to me because I was doing and involved and thriving in an industry that so many people want to be a part of. So because I was hungry for that, I never had any regrets, because I was doing it for the gift of having influence in a young person's life, especially young ladies. I have such a big heart for young women. So I never had any regrets, probably until I got pregnant, and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna take care of my kid doing this? But even still, that moment passed, because it's what I know is a part of my purpose in the earth. I think there's a phrase right now that's out in the world, or has been around for a while, about being woke. And once you truly do awaken to more issues that are going on in your community and in the world, there is more of a responsibility as a storyteller, a professional storyteller, to tell those stories, to connect with those people that have experienced those stories, and then in your reenactment, whether it be in dance, singing, storytelling with a script, to share their stories, be an advocate for their stories with people that wouldn't otherwise hear them. My conviction that I play a part in a bigger picture keeps me, and that's my faith, keeps me a part of like social change. It keeps me accountable to us as a whole, us as an entire community, as humanity. I work with a teacher at a dance studio he's a wonderful choreographer, and he believes that everything he needs to tell a story or to choreograph something is in the music. It's found in the music. He said if it's not in the lyrics, no, he says if it's not in the accompaniment, right, and the musicians, the instruments, then look to the lyrics. But he's like, everything you need is right there to indicate the steps. And I feel that way about the Song of Life. Like, every single thing you need is right there. And I know does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? There's like always this back and forth double dutch on that. Like, does it? Which comes? I feel like it's art imitating life. I really do. So I feel like there's so much that's just right here in the news or in the person right next to you that gives you so many ideas on what you can create. I mean, even with this amazing project that I get to be a part of that you're doing, came from a movement that is real life, a movement that is affecting people and freeing people. And then from that place, you thought to put together this vision. It's a perfect example. I think one of the greatest gifts that a human can be afforded is the gift of growth in yourself and witnessing someone else's growth. And I'm just so honored that I get to be a part of this project, because I really believe in the visionary that's producing this project. And I believe in the growth that I've gotten to witness in her over the 6 years, maybe 7 by the time you witness this project. So it is a special gift to me to be a part of this, because I've gotten to watch her find her voice. So thank you so much. And thank you so much, Kyndal. And then also thank you, this organization, for what you do and giving young ladies, young women, their voice.
I utilize my art form to give back to the community through performing wherever I can, serving out in the community, and sometimes I do events just to, for free or for low cost, just to provide, out time. I realized that I wanted to be a singer a long, long time ago. I used to watch this show called Hee Haw when I was little, and they had this actress, singer, and her name was Crystal Gale. And she had this long hair. She had this beautiful voice, and I was like, I want to do that. So I'd walk around the house with a towel on my head and act like I had the long hair, and I would sing into brushes, and I was like, you know what, I think I want to perform with this. I never thought that running around the house singing into brushes and wearing towels on my head would lead to me singing and performing out in the community. No, that was never the goal, but then once I started doing it, I realized it was something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Current events have influenced me because I feel like there needs to be hope and there needs to be inspiration in our community and in our world today. There's a lot to focus on that's negative, but I feel like through the arts and through music, everybody finds connection and they find hope that way. So I want to continue to go out there and remind people of what's great and beautiful in this world through the arts. What inspires me? I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I see other people that are like me, that have children like mine, that need an opportunity to make a difference in the community, and they need hope. Sometimes they run out of inspiration. I think those are two very important things to me, is inspiration and hope and servitude. And I see that my community now, being survivors, need an opportunity to be encouraged and uplifted, and they need to know that there are people right behind them that are, willing to walk hand in hand to inspire them. I am the CEO of the Survive to Thrive Foundation and a partner in the Sanctuary Platform LLC. We provide resources to survivors of domestic violence and their families that have either been displaced or homeless because they can't get into shelter space. So now, that's another thing that I would never imagine in a million years that I would actually be doing, is running a tech company and a foundation. But you know how life, you just have to go with the flow and follow where direction takes you. And I use all of it just to serve my community. I keep going back to the concept that people can learn that even though it feels like the world is coming in around them, and there's opportunities to spread hope and to be beautiful in an ugly place. That it's important to find what's at your core that makes you happy and gives you joy, so that you don't get taken down by what is seemingly horrible and bad around you. A lot of times you can pull yourself out of a depressed and sad place just thinking about things that give you joy. I think this is really cool that you're doing this. I'm really honored that you asked me to do this, and that I would encourage you just to find that thing, which you know what, I don't think I even need to say that, because I already know, Kyndal, you're very talented, and you're pursuing your dreams, and I'm really honored to be a part of what you're doing today.
I believe that the dancers are given talent. They have been given this talent that they can often use to share, and often in the dance world they use it to perform for friends or families, kind of for their own, seeing their own growth and their own shows. But I believe those talents, it's also important to give back to the community by showing some of that to people within the community, that it might brighten their day or whatnot, or even just by using their healthy beings to help make improvements to the community, such as service projects or supporting causes, supporting school programs, all of that. I will tell you, I had a grandmother that always told me when I was in high school I was going to be a teacher, and I was like, not going to happen, because they don't make enough money and they put up with a whole lot. But I always had a connection to kids. I always babysat or like assisted stuff. And then when I was in college, I was planning to move to New York and whatnot, which I did. But a friend of mine in a show got me to help him choreograph a group. And then from that, it turned into, well, now can you come help me teach the class? And then my name got passed. And by the time I left college, I was doing like high school choreography. And I think the biggest turning event for me was I worked in an East Austin elementary school, a summer program, and we tied the arts to these kids that needed scores to come up. And these kids had zero access to arts whatsoever. And it was just such a cool shift that I got to watch. And I was like 19 or 20 at the time. So then I moved to New York and had no intention of doing any of it. It was just something I did. Honestly, it was good money for college. And it was something I really loved to do. And I could work spring break and vacations and work full time and make a good amount of money on my time off. So I moved to New York and started doing my own stuff, and it was kind of that pull of like, something's missing. And I think it just took me a couple of years to figure out that I actually missed creating and that interaction. I think there was more to it than just creating. For me, it was also about kind of the give and take with the kids as well. And so when I finally was like, I also had a mom who always told me, do not be afraid of your dreams changing. Like, it's important to have them, but sometimes they can shift. And when I finally, I think, was ready to admit to myself that even though I really wanted to be this performer on Broadway or this amazing dancer, what my heart was really telling me was what I really wanted to do was create and be involved in kids somehow. So once I admitted that, I went all in and I moved back and got certified to teach in public school and started doing programs and working in studios and all that. I mean, right now, okay, I'm going to start big and I'll get smaller, but I feel like our world is nutty right now in politics, and I think it is really easy to feel hopeless or not heard or what is happening. A lot of people I am close with, we just can't, like, what is going on? However, this summer when I went to New York, I came away and seen several shows. I think the one plus side to politics being so crazy right now in our world, and the shift of, no matter what you believe, I think it's hard to argue that there's not some big haves and have-nots. There's a certain sense of equality missing, right? But in that, I think artistry's never been stronger. And the shows that I saw and the messages that were in every single show, not always obvious, but I think it was so hopeful to me in that, like, yes, we become active and activists in our, whatever we believe in, but also in our artistry, we have so much to say. So for me, that's a big level. But for me, when I have Wednesday night class with high school kids, while I don't want to impose my political beliefs, I very much want them to know that they each have a voice and they each have a chance to believe. And so that trickles down to even, I think, song choice and what is your motivation behind this and what can you bring in from your daily lives. And so for me, dancing comes from that place, and that's what makes it genuine and authentic and an art form versus like tricks of a sport. Any artist that takes time to give back is inspiring to me. I feel like there is a huge wake-up call right now of treating our world itself better. Gosh, I hope we all get on board with just in terms of like climate and little things like trash and composting and stuff like that. I think we are struggling with, I think we do so much international, but we're struggling with how to exist as an international community, and I think we can definitely learn and work on that. I don't think we've learned it yet, but I think politics is legit in that you need to know how to do it. But I also feel like, I hope we're learning that like there has to be some type of honesty and ingenuity in it, or else we're gonna keep going down this crazy path. I wanna feel really proud of the country I live in. I wanna feel really proud of like our laws, and right now I find it hard to go anywhere internationally and say, I'm normally like, oh, it's embarrassing, you know? So I hope we're learning lessons with that. I feel like with this president, all this hatred has been unmasked. And the one thing I can think is like, it's been there all along. So at least it's out in the open. But gosh, I'm still floored all the time at how much there is. And that scares me a little bit. And most of it I think is fear-based and greed. And I just feel like at the end of the day, like we're supposed to help each other out, and I hope we're learning how to be better neighbors and community to one another and help care for one another and not worry about if they deserve it or not, but instead, you know, I don't know. You know, the most inspiring thing to me is like what's happening right this second. And that truly, I feel anytime I get nervous about like, you know me, I'm like, girls, we go forward, we don't go backwards, right? Like it's really important. I teach my girls and I set an example that people fought hard for us to be able to be brilliant and have creative voices. So I just think embrace that, and when I see that happening with you right now, like that, it truly is just like, okay, one step forward. At the end of the day, hope. I think hope is so important, and faith, I guess, in believing in like the good. And that's it.
Cool.
I start with teaching young women how to find what their passion is by mentoring, sharing with my experiences, and allowing them to follow what their path is. I share with everybody that when you feel it in your spirit and your soul, you know it's it. That's the gift that you have, and if you're still not sure about it, I tell everybody to just put it down for a while and then go back to it and see, does it still resonate, that same experience. I remember telling my teacher, Mrs. Eggenberger, when I was in 3rd grade, she's the one that encouraged me and really inspired me to be the artist that she had already known when I was in 3rd grade. And I'll never forget when I had shared with her that I wanted to do a presidential inauguration. And she said, I really feel that you're going to do it one day. And many years later, I got the opportunity to actually shoot pictures at President Obama's inauguration. I've been extremely blessed to have so many unique opportunities, from President Obama's inauguration to Living Your Life tour, Oprah Winfrey, to having artwork in museums and galleries throughout the US, New York, and so I just keep on pushing forward. It has definitely changed my perspective about art, making sure that my art convey a message in what's going on also in the world. So a lot of my work is showing hope, that people have lost hope in passions and gifts that are innately in our spirits, that we really need to focus on what brings joy to each individual. So that's how my work is changing in the community. Because my gift is a business in fine art, there's been slow seasons and peak seasons. So to me, sometimes that is an option to give up, but what my role is to be able to share that experience with younger individuals and hopefully inspire them to not give up. Young people that are looking up to me as a role model, never give up. Give back to your community and inspire others. Just enjoy the gift that you've been given and enjoy life. And I think when you share your experience with people in the community, I think that gives people hope. This bust right here exemplifies Rosa Parks, which was a woman of courage. And I really do feel that I am the next generation of a woman of courage. This bust was on display not only at the Civil Rights Museum, but also during President Obama's first inauguration parade. So I'm really proud to have been there to take this picture, as well as be a generation and stand on the shoulders of Rosa Parks. This is an old oak tree that was taken in Gonzales, Louisiana. This is at a slave plantation, and the energy that I felt that day was just overpowering, to know the stories that these trees exemplified, of struggle, of perseverance, of hope, of setting that path for all of us as freedom, not freedom just as a people, but freedom as women. We're in a day of time and still fighting for rights, and it's really going to be important that we keep this history alive so that we understand the journey that we have taken. This particular photo was shot in Marble Falls, Fredericksburg, and I was traveling down the road coming back to Austin when I saw this truck. People that are artists, things don't pop out like everybody else. You have to find your art in the details. So this old Model T was hidden behind these trees. And what it represented to me is the relationship that I have with my grandfather in Louisiana. And it represents, although it's old, the perspective, the energy, the lessons still resonates in my life today about being kind, being respectful, loving people that are different, as well as loving people that are alike. And the energy from this particular photo, it's just a reflection of who my grandfather was. And he just represented just a loving and kind person. I'd just like to end this interview with finding your inner joy, finding your own passion and pursuing it. And there's going to be naysayers that's going to explain to you, oh, you can't do it. But usually when people say you can't do it, inside spirit says you can.